So I'm gonna put my picture up on this. So the names that's in these emails, I don't say. I emailed this to myself November 22nd, 2015 at 11:12 p.m. So it says that someone was speaking in tongues and I interpreted and prophesied. I dreamt that there was a service with multiple people there being used and it was packed. Then it was Mama's turn. I sang and laid hands with her. Many men were there. A lot reeked of homosexuality. And one began to say that the Most High delivered him 5 years ago and was shouting but still seemed gay. This prophecy happened. And it actually happened in several parts. I always worked with my mom. She was known for healing and deliverance, laying hands, and things like that, right? So one service was a woman's service, and I've never seen so many lesbians in the church at the same time. And as a woman that was turned out at a very young age by other women and have been preyed on by other women and partaking in certain things, it's just certain atmospheres that I don't want to be in. It's just not conducive. So if I knew that all of these lesbians who was been cloaking as straight women was going to be there, I wouldn't have gone. And if I knew that a woman at that time who I called sister was on the down low herself, she wouldn't have shared rooms with me. So at that particular conference, my mother was being used and then she got shut down out of jealousy. But then this woman started to speak in very deep demonic tongues that sound like Czech and Latin. And I knew what she was saying. And the woman who's an apostle, who I believe is a bull dagger, and her two women armor bearers who take care of her, those are bull daggers too. And they couldn't do nothing with the woman who was speaking in demonic tongues because that wasn't their area. They had no choice but to look over there at my mama and at me. My mama, I'm praying for her because I'm telling her, I'm like, and I'm just thankful for the times in my life where I was celibate and not drinking and not doing this and not doing that, just completely sold out because of the level of demonic activity that I have seen and encountered personally. So I'm laying hands on my mama. I'm talking about from the crown of her head to the sole of her feet, from the front to her back. I'm down on my knees like I'm laying hands fully on her because this is a demon in this woman. It's a demon. And I know my mom's not going to cast it out because the atmosphere is not right for it to be cast out. If you cast it out, it has to go somewhere else. And there was a lot of empty vessels in that place. So my mama looked at me and she said, "You ready?" I said, "I'm ready." My mama go lay hands on a woman. I'm laying hands on my mama back. And then my mama touched the woman. Boom. Silenced her. Right? So that happened. The other part of the dream that happened is many men there reeked a lot of homosexuality. So we were in this other service, and I've kind of told this before, where this apostle who is known to be very prophetic, very, very accurate. Very accurate. I'm not even gonna hold you. Very accurate, And my son was sitting on my lap. He was less than 2 years old at this time. He's around 2, right? My son was sitting on my lap. And this woman who they call prophetess and evangelist, who you can look on her face and you could tell, right? So my son pointed at the woman's face and said, "Mommy, that's a witch." And I, took his hand down from pointing because pointing is rude. And I said, "I know, baby, it's okay." And we keep rocking back and forth. And he was so loud, the whole church heard him. So the apostle standing up there. And this is how you begin to prove prophetic dreams, right? Because I'm seeing this a lot. And the Ruach HaKodesh has led me to go back into my old email to find some of these prophetic dreams as just to come on here and share. Because I don't do this. So I know this is him. I don't do this. Not like that, y'all. I don't do this, right? So in that service, the apostle was like, if there's anybody that needs to come up and give a word, woo, my mama, my daddy, his wife, and him look right at me. I'm looking at the sky like, ooh, these show is some white ceilings. Like, no, no, no. Me no hablas inglés. Me no hablas inglés. Lo siento, papi. No. Right? And so he was like, Elder, and I can't be disobedient. My father said, go. So, y'all excuse me, I'm chewing. That's so rude and ghetto. I wasn't planning on doing this. So, my father and him make me go up there, right? And this is still part of the fellowship from the first story that I just told. But this is a totally different church, totally different pastors. We all just happen to fellowship with one another. And the men was not at that service that, my mama had to silence that demon in, right? So, and that demon was speaking out deep, dark things, coming actually into agreement with the spirit that dwelt on that female apostle and her two armor bearers. It was, Mashiach, Baruch Adonai. So, yeah, that's how I speak in tongues. So, yeah, that means the anointed one be praised. And y'all know what Adonai means, right? So when this service began to happen, I stand up, and I wasn't very liked, and I was loved in this organization because people like to attempt to pimp me for the prophetic, for the laying on hands and things of that nature. They hated when I would get up to prophesy because 80% of the other people would be getting up there to prophesy money and cars and, the prosperity gospel. I'm sorry. I can't do that. Like the way that my life is set up, the Most High just may strike me down. Like, what? A lot of the struggling I do have in my body now outside of injury, because I've been through so many physical things, oh my, it's due to disobedience. My cervical cancer, due to disobedience. So the Most High will stricken your body. Will stricken your body. So I'm up there, and I tell, and I start prophesying. And I began to, and I'm not even going to go into all of the prophecies. I'm just going to go into the one that confirms this. Many men were there. A lot reeked of homosexuality. Literally in this service, I saw that the drummer, the two drummers' assistants, the ushers, and a couple of elders that was in the church were living a grotesque homosexual lifestyle. And that they would actually be meeting up to do things in what we call the Holy Temple. And that they were actually using a lot of the retreats and things of that nature to conduct homosexuality. And some of these young men were boys. And so they were being turned out. They were being sodomized. They were being raped. And I exposed some other things, and I'm not lying to y'all. My father let me know the next Sunday, and the pastor, about 80% of his congregation left. Because I literally told them, y'all got X amount of days to get y'all houses in order. And if you don't, judgment is going to come. Do not step back in this church if you know that you are not doing exactly what the Most High told you to do. So that's confirming of that dream, right? And then and one began to say God delivered him from 5 years ago from homosexuality, but he still seemed gay. So the young woman who was my roommate at that conference that my mama laid hands at, her husband, and this is why they could be with one another. And this is what I want to tell y'all. The reason that I have such a keen sense for down low men and bisexual men is due to the things that I have been through. And it is also indicative as to why I have attracted the type of men that I have attracted. Magnets begat magnets. And we just going to be plain, and we just going to be clear. So this young woman's husband and children's father, they're no longer married, and he's in a homosexual marriage. This was November 22nd, 2015. All of these things happened after this date. Then, this has to do with modern day media and with worldwide news. November 22nd, 2015, I had both of these dreams in the same night. This was at 11:12 p.m. And so I was basically with an acquaintance, a very beautiful woman, and we was taken to a super fancy Italian restaurant, and it was underground. They were trading money, and there were big beds underground. There were police, rappers, and politicians. It got raided, and the guys fled for themselves. And I don't have to go in depth about that. I'm going to come back with another dream soon. This is Jacolia of Jacolia Gems.